Hey guys, welcome to Bedroom Studio Corner. I am XD. Now today we're going to be talking about mixing, and I'm going to give you some advice that I got from a lot of mix engineers that I couldn't understand. By telling you right now, I promise you won't understand it first, but the more you put it into practice, you'll actually understand what it means. The best advice on mixing that I've ever gotten was that less is more. Now it sounds very wrong when you say that less is more because you feel like there's a lot that has to be done to a track in order to make it sound really good. But what they mean about less is more is that the adjustments that you'll be making when you mixing your song have to be less. You don't have to adjust so much. I remember back in the day when I got so obsessed over compression, I used to overcompress vocals, overcompress kicks and snares because I wanted to hear that pop sound that comes up and hits me, and then I'm so happy. I'm like, I'm so obsessed with this compression. Same thing went with auto-tune. I used to auto-tune every vocal that I got. It just became an obsession. But then at this stage of production, you have to practice moderation, because let's say for instance, you're using an EQ. You do not have to boost an EQ more than 4 or 5 decibels. That is just too much, but you need to work at least below 3 decibels. Give a little bit of a 1 decibel boost, give a bit of 2 decibel boost. You will see the difference that it makes afterwards when everything is playing together in context of the mix. So less is more. You don't want to overcompress things because there are stages into the mix. If you're doing bussing, if you're doing mastering at the end, all of these things are going to come into effect. So let's say for instance, you add a lot of compression on a snare, and just on the first channel, you add a lot of compression on the snare on its own. And then in the drum bus that the snare is being routed to, you're going to still add compression there, which means the snare is now being compressed twice. And then at the end, after all this mix, you're gonna still master and add more compression on top of that compression that you added 2 times on that snare, which means the snare is being compressed 3 times. So if you don't think about all the stages that are gonna come after you compress your snare the first time, it's just gonna be a heavy snare at the end of the day, and you're gonna think that, why does my snare sound really wrong right now? It was sounding fine as I was working on it, but now when we got to the mastering stage, it now sounds very bad. So that's why less is more. You need to make subtle changes, and the more subtle changes will work out better for you at the end process when you now want to get your song mastered or you want to master it yourself. So keep that in mind whenever you're doing some tweaking. I understand when you look at the graphics and the graphs of an EQ, you have all the space and you can move the slider all the way up and down. It's just an option that is there. You can do it sometimes when you want to do sound design and you're designing the sound, but in mixing, you are not designing anything. You're just controlling the sound and molding the sound to be as clear as it can be. And when you're cutting or you're boosting, you need to make sure that it's subtle, it's not too heavy, it's not too much. Same goes with any effects like phasers and reverbs and all that. You don't have to add so much of them. Moderation is the key when mixing. So always keep this in mind, less is more. So just put this into practice. The more you do it, the more you understand what is actually happening. I used to think that I'm doing so much, getting so much done by overcompressing, over EQing, so much lifting, so much decibels, dropping down the threshold and increasing the ratio to an unreasonable amount, until I started listening to other people's songs and looking at other people's work. And then I figured out that I was overdoing my mixes. I was overdoing my processing. Then I had to bring it back down and bring it back to that less is more, because that's how it works out. If you really find this helpful, leave a like down below. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. And remember, you can always support the channel through Patreon, through sharing this video, and through getting another producer to subscribe to the channel. You can also follow me on my social media. I am on Twitter, I am on Instagram. I'm gonna leave links to my social media down below as well. And I also want to thank my patrons for supporting the channel. And this is the type of help that will keep this channel growing. So thank you guys for your support. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you guys in my next video. I am X and I'm out. Peace, y'all.